Hi there, everyone. This is Suzanne Wagner, and I'm doing the intuitive patterns for the month of April 2021. This is something that I do at the beginning of each month. It is a tarot card spread with different decks of cards. In this case, it's about 7 different decks of cards. And I use the cards and I use the metaphors of each card, and I kind of weave together the meaning for the metaphorical patterns for the entire month. And so it's sort of a creative process and it's an intuitive process as we work together to do this. So I'm going to explain the cards. And for those of you that are liking to learn about cards and wanting to learn about tarot, you can kind of look these cards up if you're interested. We're going to start with the Osho Zen Tarot this month. We get participation and going with the flow. In the medicine cards, we get badger, lynx, and porcupine. In the Mayan Oracle, we get the Adventurer's Quest and Kawak. In the Ancient Egyptian Tarot, we get the Four of Cups, the Prince of Swords, and the Prince of Wands. In the Aleister Crowley Thoth Tarot deck, we get Happiness, the Hermit, and Valor. And the Healing Earth Tarot, we get the Ten of Crystals, the Lovers, and the Woman of Crystals. And in the Words of Truth, we get Overview, Release, Purity, and Childhood. So I'll tell you how my brain works around this. So I tend to start with just a card. And let's start with the very beginning, the word participation. We're being asked to fully participate in the energies of this month. But at the same time, we have to really learn to surrender, release, and let go and be in the flow that is manifesting at this time. Badger tells us that there's a powerful healing that's happening for the feminine at this time. And you have to be assertive enough and aggressive enough to go for it. Lynx is about intuition, knowing the secrets, paying attention to your intuition. And porcupine says, but don't forget that there is tremendous protection in your innocence. The Mayan Oracle with the Adventurer's Quest says, get ready. This is going to be an adventure. It's going to be really interesting. We're in this time of Aquarius, and it's all about progress and forward motion. And when you start an adventurer's quest, you actually don't know where you're going to end up. You kind of think you know where you're going to end up, but never have I ever taken a quest on and ended up where I thought I was going to go. And Kawak is the purple fiery vortex of transmutation and change. It means that we are literally walking into a fire. And as we walk into that fire, it's going to burn off all the energy that is no longer necessary until we become the pure, sweet, curling smoke of the fire. And that all of the substance that we clung to in the past that used to define ourselves is revealed as not anything really. The Four of Cups basically says that we have to be careful of indulging too much, indulging in anything too much. The Prince of Swords is saying that we need to really look at our ideas and decide if those ideas are actually really what we want. The Prince of Wands says that we have to energetically move towards new things. The happiness card says on a lot of levels there's a lot of joy when you obviously go with the flow and let your innocence out. The Hermit card says there might be places that you feel like you're walking this path alone, but that is what needs to happen. Almost all adventurers' quests are personal and private, and you can't take everybody that you know on that journey. And the Valor card says it could be exhausting. Get ready. This could be a long haul. It could take a tremendous effort. More effort than you probably realize at this point. And there are some fights that you probably will not have the energy to put into. And sometimes as a warrior, it's better to fight another day. With the Ten of Crystals, it says there's still a lot of misery and suffering that you're going to hear or experience or listen to. But your intuition with the Woman of Crystals is telling you that, there's meaning to it. That maybe you need to hear the pain and cries of your own soul or the pain and cries of the earth. Because the way we heal the earth is to love all parts of ourselves, including our masculine side and our feminine side. And so the end point is we have to have overview. We have to release our childhood ideals in favor of embracing the purity of the expression of our soul in this life. So that's how my brain kind of puts all of this together, but I'm going to dive more in depth with it. So this month, we stand at the doorway to move beyond our childhood. A new mature perspective has arrived that will allow us to grow into something beyond idealistic perceptions that have supported us in the past. Growing up at this point is not a bad thing. It feels as if now there is a greater illumination and clarity paving the way for us to move into realistic places of enlightened understanding and acceptance. Sometimes maturity looks like letting go of the past illusions that protected us and made us feel special. But there is a deeper place of self-understanding and acceptance unfolding that allows us to shed the skin of those projections and embrace what we have become. Dreams lead us forward and allow us to risk, but when we see ourselves clearly, we can finally marvel at the miracle that is our soul's amazing journey in this earthly evolution. This month's awakening seems to stem from the embracing of both our masculine and feminine sides. It is time that we recognize that we are the bridge between heaven and earth. We are the connection that we have been seeking. Once we see that, then we can find the fulfillment first inside and stop looking for it outside. In loving all parts of ourselves, we can then fully and passionately love everyone and everything in this world. This month, the need for change becomes a hunger that will not be satisfied with the methods previously used. Those feelings of indecisiveness are no longer blocking us from doing what our heart and passion seem to demand. Tradition is revealed as restrictive and blocks a soul's potential. It is shown as a method that fear uses to paralyze the soul from risking and claiming space in this dimension. Intellect, being used as a weapon, is refused. Ideas designed to override the goodness in the world leave a bitter taste in the mouth. In the winds of the past, we hear the shrieks and misery of the suffering inflicted upon those with less power and influence. Such sounds will no longer be tolerated or condoned by those conscious enough to be willing to listen and learn. We are flowing into a new place of truth. We are being asked to fully participate in a world in which tyrants manipulate and control subversively. Once we see those horrors and atrocities for what they truly are, we cannot ever forget. Once we witness a war, those images are burned forever in the circuitry of our brain. Once we are fully awake, we cannot be blind or numb to the suffering inflicted upon any form of life on this planet. The winds are roaring. The cries cannot be silenced. The truth is witnessed. The horror is experienced. Healing happens when we refuse to ignore the pain. Intuitive knowing integrates when we are willing to see everything. Innocence is reclaimed when we trust in our ability to heal and grow. Clarity comes when we finally refuse to ignore what we know. Thanks, everyone. Have a fabulous month.